We're at the GBU Live Campus View Club here at the Peterson Events Center after the Panthers beat NC State last night. That your team battled.
We fought, man. We fought. NC State's a good team, and they're very good at home. They've only had one home loss. I saw a graphic last night when I was watching tape on the flight back. I think in the last 2 years they've lost 4 home games.
Yes, that's true.
And now we're 2 of them. We've beaten them there the past 2 years. Our guys have become – they're learning to love to fight. And that's a big difference from where we were earlier in the year. They were learning how to fight. They were learning what it means. I think back to our game here, our 2 games here against Clemson and Missouri, when they were close games, under 4 timeout, 1 possession games, and we weren't able to get a stop. We weren't able to make a shot or to make a basket or to make a play. And how we've gotten better and how we've matured because they're learning to love the fight, to learn the process of it and everything that goes into it. I think it helped that we got off to a really good start, and that's something on the road, with the exception of Miami, that we've been able to do a good job of, is getting off to a good start. That took the crowd away a little bit. They made a run in the first half and tied it at 30, and then we got back, timeout, hey, let's just get back to what we were doing, and we were able to extend that. So we closed the half. If you think about earlier in the year, we did a poor job of closing halves. So we've gotten better there. We came out the second half, and we were able to get it to 13. They made a little bit of a run, got it back to about 7. We were able to get it back to 10. And then they went on a huge run, and they were able to take the lead. The thing that I loved was that when they took the lead, we didn't blink. In the past, a month ago, a couple of months ago, we would have blinked, and we would have, put our head down and felt bad and things like that. This team has shown grit, toughness, and guys have stepped up and made plays. I thought one of the biggest plays it was a tie game out of a timeout. We made an adjustment to an out-of-bounds play, and it generated Blake with a corner 3, and we missed it. But Bub got in there and got an offensive rebound. He's the guy that made the pass from under out of bounds. Kicked it back out to Blake, got another 3. We missed it. And there was a scramble, and then Ish got the rebound and finishes it and gives us a 2-point lead. I thought Federico's defense on Burns, because we knew where the ball was going down the stretch, to force him into some tough shots, and then for us to secure the rebound. Federico following up Bub's shot. And then obviously Jalen making the free throws. And then not only that, for us to execute fouling. We called the timeout. We knew we wanted to pick them up. We wanted to try to turn them. And once they got across half court, we wanted to go for the foul. And we did a good job of that. And in that situation, man, a lot can happen. And when the kid missed the first free throw, I thought we relaxed. It was funny. I told Jalen, we were in the airport walking to the plane. I said to him, did you hear me trying to tell you don't leave Horn? So Horn was on the left side. I think Morcell was on the right side. It's their 2 best 3-point shooters when the kid's shooting the second free throw. And because he missed the first one, we knew he was going to try to miss the second one.
Right.
The only way, it was 6 seconds left. The only way they can tie it is if they knock it back out, and hit a 3. So I'm telling Jalen, stay with Horn. Well, Blake is telling him, you go to Morcell. Ish, who's on the line, he's going to go to Horn. And I'm trying to yell at him, listen to me. So I told Jalen, and he was like, yeah, Blake told me that. And I said, yeah, don't listen to a 4-man. You're a point guard. You're supposed to know this stuff. Point guards, listen, whatever. And Blake was right there, and he was like, Coach, we need to practice that situation. So that's something we'll do on Saturday. But our guys are growing up. The young guys are growing up. Guys are getting better. Guys are making big plays. Zach Alston made a huge 3 when we were struggling to score a little bit in that game, a huge 3 off of another offensive rebound. So it's been cool to watch them grow up.
All right, there's a lot to dive into there. But I want to say this. I think we've all seen a lot of teams that have loved to fight play on that court right
Yeah.
below us here at the Pete. What is it like to coach a team as you see them have that type of grit and determination?
Yeah, it's awesome because this team especially is so different from last year's team. Last year's team had 4 23-year-olds in the back court, and then the whole front court was new. Um, we have babies in the back court, man. I mean, they're 18 years old, and they're figuring this stuff out. If you look at NC State's starting backcourt, I mean, they were 24 and 25 years old. That's a big age gap. And so to see these guys do that, to see Ish being able to accept, coming off the bench, and you've heard me say, I've gone back and forth. I think he's a starter. I look at him as a starter. He plays starter minutes, but for us, at least right now, and for me, I think it helps having a punch coming off the bench, which he's able to give us. But that takes a selfless act to not want to do your handshake with KJ and hear your name called and stuff like that. For Fetty and for G. Fetty started at the beginning. Then G started. Then Fetty started back at Duke. And, what that's done. And I remember talking to Guillermo about it when we were in the hotel at Duke. And I told him before I told the team, I'm going to start Fetty. It's nothing that you've done. We just need him. And hopefully this gives him a spark. And he came out and played his best game against Duke that day. And so all these little things go into a season. We talked about Will Jeffers against Wake Forest to come in that last 9.5 minutes and play like his head was on fire, and the energy that it just shot through everyone in that building and what it did for us. And so for me as a coach, man, that's the thing that's cool, is to watch these guys get it. When we were one and whatever we were at the time, one and whatever in the league, it would have been easy to put our head down and to feel sorry for ourselves and things like that. But we kept telling them, just keep fighting, just keep showing up. That's one of the first things, in our locker room is to show up. And they've shown up every day with a great attitude, and it's great to see good things happening for us.
We talked to Jalen earlier in the year, and he just seems so calm, so in control. And we see that some of those traits on the court. Is he that calm? And how does a kid that young kind of develop the way he has?
Yeah, Jalen has an old spirit. He is calm. It's funny because I've known him since he was like little, and he's always been quiet. It's hilarious for me to see him around his teammates and to see him cracking jokes and talking trash and loud and funny and, saying these crazy things or whatever. But in basketball moments, he is calm. And so that's why he's able, I said after the game last night, like Jalen lives for those moments. And we've been able to see it this year at the end of Duke, the shots that he made. He made a huge three at Georgia Tech from the corner. At the end of Miami, we had the ball in his hands. He got fouled. They didn't call it, but, in that situation. And I would have loved to have seen him have the opportunity down 2 with 5 seconds left, 4 seconds. I would have had a lot of confidence in him making those free throws, just like last night when we were up 1, when he got it, had all the confidence in the world in him.
Yeah, he had a big 3 in the first half as well.
Huge 3 in transition. I mean, he was a big reason we got off to a great start. We knew with Burns is a really good player for NC State, but our thing is we're going to try to run him. We're going to try to put him in as many ball screens, and hopefully we can tire him out. I thought early in the game we were able to do that, and fortunately we were able to make some shots.
All right, there's something as a media guy that I have been critical of, and we all have been critical of, that you did really well as a team last night. So we're going to talk about that, plus some other things about the win over NC State as we continue on the Jeff Capel Show on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. Live at the Peterson Events Center with head coach Jeff Capel. I'm Jeff Hathorn. I am one of those people that will be guilty of asking you after a game when you struggle at the free throw line. Do you guys practice it? Do you emphasize it enough? Like, what's going on? 18 of 20, including, as you mentioned, those 2 from Jalen. Is it just that they're going in?
I think so. I mean, it's a like for me, I think it's a sensitive subject with the player, and I'm speaking now as a player. When I played, I wasn't a great free throw. I wasn't. I was a really good shooter. I wasn't an awful free throw shooter, but I wasn't as good as I should have been compared to how I shot the ball, especially from 3-point range. So I do think a lot of it's mental. I do think that. I think at times as a coach, if you're saying like, hey, you got to make this, you got to make, that could put more pressure on them. So I don't say that. I will say at times when we've struggled, like, hey, man, like we got to be better at the line when we do feedback. Step up with confidence, like it's my shot. We'll do things in practice. We'll do peer pressure free throws, whether it's after running, after doing something. The other day in practice, I think it was today is Thursday. I'm all mixed up on my days. I think it was Monday. At the end of practice, we did this thing where it's just like a 4-minute sprint, and they're ball handling and things like that. And then at the end, I had Ish come out, and I put guys on the line, like we're lining up for a free throw. And I said, okay, we just got to stop. And we're up 1. It's 5 seconds left. Okay, here we go, right here. You have 2 shots. So just try to create those situations in practice. There'll be times when they're shooting free throws and I'm standing behind the basket, and I'll blow my whistle when he's getting ready to shoot, or I'll throw the ball up in the air. Just trying to simulate how it would be when you're on the road, a crowd is there, and things like that. But it's not something I actively talk about. Now, when we get back together on Saturday, I will mention 18 for 20. That's the reason we won, because I think they missed 9. But we were able to step up and make free throws down the stretch and throughout the game.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's the pressure of the game, but then there's the pressure of doing that in practice, where you got 12 guys just panting at the baseline. It's like, I don't want to run. I don't want to run. You better make those free throws.
No.
And it is a pressure situation from that standpoint.
No, it's definitely that. You try to do it when they're tired, so trying to simulate a game or different moments in the game. I mean, it's such a huge play because it's something that can continue your momentum. It's something that can stop the other team's momentum. One of the things that's really tough is, let's say you're struggling to score, which we've had plenty of moments this year, even last night, where we had moments where we couldn't score. What's really tough when you're struggling, you're not making shots, and you get to the line, it's a 1-and-1, you miss the front end of a 1-and-1, and so hopefully it's something our guys did it on the road with confidence. Hopefully it's something that helps them become more confident in being able to step up in those moments and make them.
28 points in the paint. Is that more the number that you want to see going forward?
Yeah, it is. I want to see us driving more. Look, we are a jump shooting team. I don't want us to just – that's all we do. Get into the mid-range, trying to get to the basket, trying to get to to draw fouls. We got to the free throw line 20 times last night, and only 2 of them were at the end where they were purposely fouling. And so 18 of those came within the flow of what we were doing. Being able to spread the floor out, drive, take advantage of matchups and things like that. So the 28 paint points is about where we'd like to be, somewhere between 28 and plus 30 or something like that.
I've got an idea. Like, next time you guys play NC State, I think Sam Clancy still's got 5 fouls left in him.
Yeah.
He's a beast.
He's good, man. He's a really good basketball player. I think people look at his size and the fact that he can really score, and because of how big he is, and you don't really appreciate it until you see him in person. TV doesn't do it justice. And he's a little bit like this novelty, like he's this big guy that can score. But I think that negates what a really good he has an unbelievable feel. Like, he can really pass. He sees stuff. Last night in the first half, because they're on our end, we're coming down on defense, and I'm yelling to our, the guys that are out there, we're going to be in fire. We're in fire, which means we're going to double the post. He knew it. And immediately he looks over at me and is like, all right, I got something for that. And then as they're coming down, the ball is going into him. As the guy is in front of our bench, he's getting ready to throw it to him. He's yelling to his team, the other guys out there, be ready to shoot. The double's coming, be ready to shoot. That's impressive, man. That's impressive to know that. And then, again, part of it is that he knows he's going to be doubled a lot, and he's just able to find these guys. And so he's a really good basketball player.
It is hard for you to go on the road and not see our next guest, because he is one of the biggest Pitt supporters out there. He's on the road all the time. He is a big part of what you guys are doing
Absolutely.
as a program. Dr. Mark Duca is going to join us next. We're going to hear some of his thoughts on some of his road trips and what he's doing to help the Pitt basketball program as we continue on the Jeff Capel Show on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. So you'd think by now I know how to work this thing. GBU Life Campus View Club here at the Peterson Event Center. Jeff Capel. Jeff, now 6-6 in the ACC as you continue to climb. Tied with Miami, Syracuse, just ahead of Clemson and Virginia Tech. What has led – we've talked about some of the things you guys have done, but this conference, there are, I think, 9 teams separated by 3 games.
Yeah.
And you expected it – I mean, it seems like it's going to be this way, for the next month.
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, once you get to conference play, I mean, it's so hard. It's hard to win, period, but once you get into conference, and especially this league, you know each other. The teams are really good. They're really good coaches, tough places to play. So I think the teams that can be mentally tough, that can stay healthy, that can stay upright, and continue to show up and get better. That's one of the things about us is that I think we've gotten better, and I still think there's room for us to continue to get better, and that's exciting. We obviously have a challenging schedule coming up with going on the road and playing at Virginia, who's playing as well as anyone, certainly in our conference, and maybe outside of UConn and Purdue in all of college basketball right now. But we're just trying to take it one day at a time, trying to get better. We got back late last night. We're in a period because this is another bye week for us, so we're actually giving our guys off today and tomorrow, which is great. Allow their bodies to recover. We'll get back together on Saturday, and Saturday will be just about us, to tweak some things, to talk, to work on some things, and then Sunday we'll start our preparation for Virginia.
Do you tell them, hey, get away from here, like go be a student, go do that stuff?
Yeah, one of the things I told them last night when we got back, I don't know if they knew that we had 2 days off. I think some of them knew. I think they look at the teamwork, like that app, the Teamworks app. The freshmen don't. And so when I walk back to the back of the bus and I, say, hey, really good job. We're off tomorrow and Friday. Like the freshman's eyes, like it lit up. And Bub is like, really? Are you serious? And I was like, yeah, like you're off. And I told him, I said, look, I haven't looked that far ahead to Friday yet. Thursday, like tomorrow's going to be beautiful. It's going to be a beautiful day. So get outside, stay out the gym, only come in here to get treatment, and just enjoy the day. Just, take care of your academic stuff and do that. We're around Friday because we have guys that are gym rats. So I'm pretty sure, even though I said that, I'm pretty sure there were guys in here today. There may be in the back gym right now. But just to allow your body and your mind to recover a little bit, to get away, and then we'll get back at it on Saturday.
You guys have seen R.J. Davis, Baycott, Hall, Amir from Miami.
Yeah.
Who are guys that you look at, Judah Mintz? I mean, that's going to be a battle to see who the MVP of the league is going to be.
I think right now it's R.J. Davis because they're in first place. He's leading our league in scoring, and he's having an unbelievable year. But, the guys you mentioned, the big kid from Miami, I mean, he's really good and is having a great year. Baycott's starting to come on. You look at what he's done the past couple of games. P.J. Hall is really, really good. The guy that, just absolutely destroyed us here, Kyle Filipowski,
him
who's
too.
the preseason player of the year in our league. And we haven't seen everyone yet, but those guys are really, really good.
I'm going to ask you a little later about Reese Beekman. There's another guy that seemingly has been here forever in this league and continues to play at a high level.
Yep.
I mean, do you look at not just the standings, do you look at bracketology or any of that stuff?
I do not look at bracketology. I don't. How do I word this right? I just don't look at it.
There you go.
I'll just leave it
there
at
you
that.
go.
I just don't look at it. I hear about it because I hear people complaining about it. I don't understand it, and I don't necessarily agree with it. A couple things. Before a game was played this year, like this fall before we started practice, there was brackets. Like there were brackets. I don't understand that because you don't even know your team because of the transfer stuff and things like that. But then I don't, for me, like I was pretty good at math once I got past adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. I was not good at math. I don't understand all these numbers. I don't understand how they get to them. I think it should be, I think numbers are important and analytical stuff. That's important. But in our game, it's not everything. The eye test is, and so the people that are making these decisions, that are doing this stuff, I think I think they're all analytical. I think they're just literally looking at numbers. And, they say that margin of victory doesn't count. That's BS. Um, Wake Forest beat Georgia Tech by like 30-plus points the other day on the road. And they jumped 10 spots in the net, from what I heard. You can't tell me margin of victory is not important then. And so it's just it's frustrating that's what these people, that's all they look at. I don't think our league gets respected. That's a whole nother story, but
I wasn't going to go down that road because I know that gets frustrating for you.
It's very frustrating.
But it's tough because somebody can put out a prediction at the beginning of the year, and teams will get benefit of the doubt because someone said, "Oh, they're going to be good."
Yeah, no question.
But they don't know.
They don't know. You don't know, and especially it's harder now, even than it was 5 years ago. Forget back but like 5 years ago, because you don't know the rosters, and I think it's going to be even more after this season because the rule of multiple year transfers, that's passing. So these kids, it's basically going to be free agency after every year. You will not know your roster, like you won't until sometime in the summer, and hopefully by then. It could be stuff later, and so it's some of these teams, man, they get off of reputation, and I get it. I played at a school where we got some stuff with reputation, so I understand it. It's not fair though now that I'm not there and we don't get reputational stuff. That's not fair. I don't like it now. It bothers me that last year, we were sitting in this room. It was Selection Sunday. And I'm sitting there and I'm watching how this thing is unfolding, and I'm sweating. I went into it confident, and I'm looking at this thing, and I'm like, wait a minute, man, something's not right about this. And it's just stuff that just doesn't make sense. Like we won at State last year. They're in comfortably. We're in the first four. Clemson beat NC State 3 times, finished 2 spots above them in the ACC. NC State's in above them. And I'm happy NC State was in. Kevin's a good friend, but it's just that's what I mean. And stuff that just it doesn't make sense. We beat the Big Ten in the Big Ten ACC Challenge last year, but they have all these teams in. We barely get 4 in, and so it's frustrating.
I can tell you why they do this stuff now. It's this sound. This clicking sound.
Is clicking.
It's the clicks.
And I'm not about clicks, man. I'm too old for clicks. I'm too old. I'm off social media. I don't look at anything. I don't need to read anyone's opinion about my team. I live it. So I know what's going on. Not that I don't respect it. I respect everyone's opinion. I just don't have to hear it.
I appreciate you adding that addendum. Hey, it was a really special Saturday here.
Yep.
300th win in this building's history. Let's talk about that as we continue on the Jeff Capel Show on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. We are in the GBU Live Campus View Club here at the Peterson Event Center, and on Saturday against a very determined Notre Dame team, strong second half, and you guys were able to get the 300th win in this building while you celebrated 2 Elite 8 teams. What was that whole night like?
Man, it was awesome. First of all, it started the night before right in here. We had members of both teams back. And it was just really cool, man, to be in their presence and to a lot of the guys from the 2009 team I've had a chance to get to know since I've been here. They're around. With Gil back on the team, they come back. Really tight-knit group. But to be around those guys, man, from 74 and to listen to them, to listen to their stories. And one of the things I've asked them, I asked a lot of those guys that were here that night, like, why were you so good? Like, what was it? And that team was unique because I think the top 8 guys or top 7 guys were all from Pittsburgh,
Yeah.
all from around there, all 5 starters. But I asked them all at different times, and the answer was the same. They genuinely loved each other. They had a care about each other. And so it wasn't the talent, and obviously they were very talented, but it was just how they cared about each other. And it's something I relayed to our team. The next day I shared that with them because the 2009 team, the answer was the same. They may have shown theirs in a different way because they were a very spirited group, very competitive, but they had a genuine love and care for each other. And it's something that, when I took this job 6 years ago now, I knew it was a major rebuild. It was a program with great pride, but that had fallen, and it was in a new neighborhood. It wasn't the Big East. And so trying to get that back, trying to get that love and care back, it was very difficult my first 4 years. I felt like I failed, and I was embarrassed. I felt like I let people down, let Heather down, let this fan base down. And, man, it took an unbelievable group last year to kind of lay that foundation of like it used to be, of love and care for each other. And I think everyone that was around that team last year could feel it. You could see it when you watched us play, but when you were around it in the building at games, if you traveled with us, you felt it like you knew it was real. And it's something that this team has carried on. I think when people watch us play, even, in early January, when we struggled, I think people still could feel that and see the love and care for each other. And that's something that I'm going to fight for. As long as I'm here, and I want to be here a long time, I'd like to be here a long time, but to fight for that, the love and care for each other, the pride and the privilege that you have of wearing this jersey, of representing this university, this city, and this basketball program.
All right, we come back. There are some special games coming to this building. We're going to discuss that as we continue on the Jeff Capel Show on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. We're joined by Nick Castiglione, Assistant Director of Marketing here at the University of Pittsburgh. There is a lot going on here at the Pete over the next few games, including Sunday, which is one of the best events of the year, the Pink to Peterson.
Yep, Sunday, Pink to Pete, women's basketball, top 5 NC State team coming to town. It's a big cancer awareness game. Our video boards will be pink T-shirts, some survivor recognitions in the game at halftime. So it'll be a really special, moving experience. It's one of our bigger games as a department throughout the year.
And Tori Verdi's wife is a cancer survivor, and who's the women's basketball coach. So that's going to be cool. And then for the men's, you have Rock the Royal, and then the blackout games, which are always fun.
Yep, so our next 2 men's home games, Saturday 17th against Louisville, our Rock the Royal game. Royal's obviously kind of an integral part of who we are visually. So the zoo will be in blue. Everybody encouraged to wear their blue. A special part about that game, actually, you can get upper baseline tickets for $20.02, which is a nice nod to the year the Pete opened in a celebration of our 300th win against Notre Dame.
So how would they do that, get those tickets?
So you can go to PittsburghPanthers.com/tickets.
Best way.
Yep. Click the men's basketball tab, and then you'll be again right there. We actually posted on social media too, so Pitt_MBB as well.
So that's Rock the Royal, and then the blackout obviously is pretty self-explanatory. Wear black.
Yep, wear black. Saturday the 24th, Virginia Tech, another big ACC game. Zoo will be in black for that one. That's another cool visual kind of theme game for us.
Those events are always fun.
Yeah.
Especially you see the crowd get into it, and you see you'll see some jerseys that come from out of different areas or different eras or different names that are really cool to see.
Yeah, and we have to have a fun twist on the Zoo shirt as well. So the Rock the Royal game of a special Zoo shirt, the blackout game of another special Zoo shirt. So it'll be a really cool visual to look out in the arena and see swaths of blue and black.
And again, PittsburghPanthers.com/tickets.
Yep, men's basketball tab. Pretty easy to get them there.
All right, Nick, thanks for joining us.
Yep,
We
thank you.
appreciate it. We continue. We're going to talk to Jeff about the battle in Virginia on Tuesday as we continue on the Jeff Capel Show on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. Head coach Jeff Capel here at the GBU Life Campus View Club at the Peterson Events Center. I feel safe to say that I could say this from here until Tony Bennett's career is over. Virginia's really good defensively.
They're so connected defensively. They're physical. And the thing that's probably been even more impressive the past 2 years is that he's doing it with not a lot of continuity. You know, he has a lot of new guys this year. Last year's team had a lot of new guys. Normally that system, when they've always been really good since he's been there once he got it going, but normally as those guys get older and they know the system, they know all the nuances of it. I've been impressed, especially this year, man, because they struggled a little bit in non-conference in some games, but man, they're playing at a really, really high level right now.
Well, they've got a guard that's had 110 starts in his career. Reese Beekman really kind of sets them up, doesn't he, offensively?
Absolutely. You know, he was the ACC Defensive Player of the Year last year. He's an outstanding defender again this year, and he's much improved offensively. In the past, you could kind of play off of him because he didn't shoot the basketball that well. He's always been able to get to the baskets, has really good size, but he's shooting it well this year. He's very confident. With Kie Clark going, he has the ball all the time, so he's the point guard, and he's really, really playing at a high level.
Yeah, and it's just always a challenge.
Always a challenge, but we'll be up for the challenge. We'll be excited for it. It's another opportunity to get have a chance to play on the road against an outstanding team, and we know they'll be ready. It's an unbelievable atmosphere. We'll be excited for it.
Panthers go for a 4th straight win. Jeff, good luck.
Appreciate it, man.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Our thanks to Dr. Mark Duca, to Nick Castiglione, to Matt Pliska, Amanda King, Casey Garrow, Joel Nelson for producing back at the station. 6:30 on Tuesday is pregame with Bill and Curtis. The game at 7 o'clock on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network.